Okay, so just double check we definitely got sound. We're all looking good. We're ready to start tonight. Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and education. An awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live? Send me a message today. Alright, so we've got a bit of an interesting one on tonight. So we've got a few parts that we don't normally have, including we've got a new CPU which we'll talk about in just a second. But we've also got the RTX 4070 Ti. It's the Asus ProArt version. Basically, it's on a really good price, and we're trying to keep the costs down. But this is the one that's optimized for productivity. So for people doing video and photo editing, 3D modeling, and stuff like that. But it is gaming as well. So best of both worlds. But essentially, this ended up only costing like $15 more than the PNY RTX 4070 Ti. What is it? Starts with a V. The model number for the model of it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that's typically the cheapest one in the RTX 4070 Ti range, at least here in Australia. But yeah, really good price on this, but we'll check it out. It's quite a nice looking card, so definitely one to check out. But over here on the CPU side, we've got a new CPU, and we're going to have a look and see what it's like, because this is... So essentially this is it's kind of like a refresh of the Ryzen 5600G, as far as I'm aware. But what we'll do is we'll allocate a bit more of the RAM as VRAM for it, and yeah, we'll give it a go and see what it's actually like, running some benchmarks on it. To buy into the AM5 platform but can't quite afford the graphics card yet, this might be a good sort of midway step for them. You can run some games all right, at least run them to some degree. The thing is, the Ryzen 5600G was the best onboard graphics chip, which is the Radeon Vega 7, I think it is, and that essentially was the best onboard graphics that you could get on a CPU, certainly that's worth paying for. So you could pick one up for about 200 Australian dollars, and you could use that as, yeah, like I said, that will at least run games for you, albeit maybe 30 frames a second and stuff like that in some titles. But that's okay, because it's like you can get your PC and then you can buy the graphics card later. Just make sure you got a power supply and motherboard to suit. So anyway, look, let's get stuck right into tonight's build. So right over here we've got a Ryzen 5 8500G, 6-core 12-thread CPU, and because it's the G, like all of the Ryzen 5, all of the Ryzen 7000 plus chips, they all have onboard graphics to some degree. But we'll have a look at this one in particular. We've also got the Asus Prime B650M, which is the -A Wi-Fi 2. So Wi-Fi 2, the 2 just means this is a revision. So typically it's better to have the revision motherboard, because the reason why there's a revision is because there was something wrong with the other one typically. So in addition to this, we've got a 32GB kit of Corsair memory there, so 6000 megahertz CL56, sorry, 36. Yep. We've got a Kingston NV2 1TB NVMe SSD. We've also got a Seagate Barracuda 4TB hard drive there, so that's good. We got a total of 5 terabytes of storage there. And so in addition to this, we just got one of those Game Max cases from the other night. Customer wasn't too concerned about the case, they just wanted the parts. And then finally this one here. So we spent a little bit extra here on the power supply, but I think that it's worth it to get a good power supply. It's got a 10-year warranty. It's an ATX3 unit, which means it has the 12 plus 4-pin connectors there for the graphics card. So we spent a little bit extra on this, but the total price for the build, if you take that 4 terabyte hard drive off and you just roll with what you've got here, you're talking 2,400 Aussie dollars, and that includes the installation and everything that you see here tonight. So yeah, happy days. Let's get stuck right into it. Yeah. Hey Mad Warrior, how you going? Good to have you with us. Hey Darren, how you going? Good to have you with us as always. How's everyone's weekend been? Doing much over the weekend? Doing chores or partying hard or whatever your weekend brings? Let me know if you've had a good one. Have you had shit go down? Let us know in the comments. Alright, so look, let's have a quick overview of the motherboard here. So we've got 12 pins of CPU power up the top there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fan headers. We've got 4 RGB headers, and 3 of them are 5 volt and 1 is 4 volt. We got USB-C, USB 3. We got 2 M2 slots, 4 SATA ports. We got 2 USB 2s. We got a COM port header. We got debug headers, clear CMOS. We got a SPI-diff header. Obviously our front panel speaker, front panel connectors there. Down here got our little sound card baked into the motherboard there with our little gold audio capacitors and that header there that connects to the microphone and speaker outputs on the front of the case. And then around the back here we have a Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 there. And what have we got? A total of 8 USB ports, so 5 USB 2 and USB 3 there. So these are the ones that have a higher amperage, so they put out a bit more power for more power hungry devices. These are just ordinary USB 3.1s. And then our PCIe, these slots here, these are just X1 slots down the bottom. So you get 2 X1 slots down there and your main slot. So you, usually with modern graphics cards, you're probably going to obscure that top slot. So just consider this to only have the 1 PCIe X1 slot at the bottom there. So all in all, pretty decent motherboard. It's got this nice aluminium heatsink there on the MOSFET VRM, so that's good. You need that if you're sort of putting a more powerful CPU on your motherboard, or if you're just using any CPU more intensively. Okay, and then obviously we've got our AM5 socket here, so be very careful. You don't want to damage any of the pins in there. It's much easier to repair the old AMD CPUs that had the pins on the actual CPU, because it's relatively easy to bend them back in shape, right? Like it's not super hard. I don't have to sort of, get the magnifying glass out and the really fine little tool and stuff like that. No, you can just sort of, yeah, get something really thin and run it through there and sort of slowly bend everything back in shape. It's not too bad. Oh, that sucks. Like feeling sick and shit. I hope. Well, I hope you're doing better, mate. That's not good. Darren's one of our oldest fans, and he's on the other side of the world. He's over in the UK, so season change up there can be a bit rough, I think. Lots of like flu and all that, and even in springtime, I think. But hey, I could be wrong. I just hear stories of the world beyond the southern hemisphere. No, I have been to America and Canada, and yeah, I've been overseas. I'm not completely uncultured. There's some really like very ignorant people in like Australia and USA. USA's probably worse. When I went to USA when I was a kid, right, I was at Disney World in Florida, and so I'm having a good time. I'm going on rides and stuff like that, and you got to like wait and line up, right? You know what it's like. And I was just like hanging out, talking to these other random American kids, and they were fascinated about me being from Australia, and I'd heard that like Americans didn't know anything about Australia, and you could just like bullshit them about what happens in Australia, and I was like, haha, that sounds fun. So I I told them that we ride kangaroos to school. We don't really, not many people ride bikes. And somehow I managed to do it with a straight face, but then I was sad that like none of my friends could hear the wicked like prank I just pulled on them, and to see them like lap it up and believe me. It's like drop bears, right? But yeah, I was just a smart ass freaking like 12-year-old. Okay. So I got our RAM installed there while I was crapping on about my own life. What we'll do, we'll put both of the M2 offsets in place. And sorry, don't mind me. I've just done a new Apple like Mac screen replacement. If you don't know much about repairing Apple related stuff, I had to use 4 different types of screwdriver fitting. It's the star shaped one, and yeah, they're all ridiculously tiny, all of the absolute smallest ones. So I need to go back to regular Phillips head ones. Oops, bit of dust. Oh. Duh. Already had a fucking screw in.
You
Hey man, how you going? Good to have you with us.
Hope you're feeling a bit better. He had COVID last week.
Oh, COVID. Okay. So we're just using our stock cooler. The good thing about not spending extra on the CPU, or not spending too much on the CPU, I should say, is the fact that you can just make do with the stock cooler. You don't need to worry about an aftermarket cooler. That's something you really only have to worry about for more high-end CPUs. So basically, if you're buying a CPU, as a general rule, okay, don't hold me to it in 100% of the cases, but as a general rule, any CPU under 300 Australian dollars doesn't actually need an aftermarket cooler. So if you buy the extra cooler, it's more for looks than anything. You don't fundamentally need it. These CPUs are tuned and based on running with the stock cooler, and that's what they do. And when it comes to gaming, as a general rule, you can pretty much, you can always just be happy with those CPUs. If you upgrade to, you know, a more expensive CPU, you typically have to spend about double to even get something that's sort of, you know, a little bit better. Maybe, you know, 5 to 10% better in terms of gaming performance. So you got to spend a lot more to get that. So until you spend a certain amount on your graphics card, it doesn't make sense spending too much on the CPU, if that makes sense. And so in this case, there was no reality where if we went with a 4070 instead of a 4070 Ti, and we put the money we saved on the 4070 Ti into a better CPU, there's no reality where that beats the 4070 Ti. Not with modern CPUs. Maybe you could find a old CPU from another era that would bottleneck the 4070 Ti to the point where it would be worse or the same as a 4070, you know, even with a better CPU running with it. So, and that's probably one thing people usually overspend on is the CPU. But like I say to people, until your overall spend is at a certain amount, it doesn't make a super amount of sense. Okay. So just sort of tuck that cable away so you don't get a lot of cable length there. And that's it. That's our board all prepped and ready to go there. So it's pretty simple these days, right? You know, you got your SSD, you got your RAM, you got your CPU. We have a rear I/O shield here and a Wi-Fi antenna. So the problem with doing it yourself, if you're not, you know, if you don't have any experience doing it, you're just doing it for the first time. The problem is, if something goes wrong, then you're kind of like on your own. If it comes time to do a warranty, you'll be responsible for handling your own warranty and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, if you buy it from another company, you can just sort of send it back to them, and then, you know, they'll handle the warranty. You know, sometimes sometimes either the retailer that you buy from or the company itself, whoever you deal with for the warranty, sometimes they'll look at you and be like, haha, you're just an ordinary person. We're gonna dick you around, and we're just gonna make you think that this is too hard and go away. You know, you don't know how that's going to go down, because you hear some horror stories, right? Whereas, yeah, if you go through a business who buys all their stuff through, you know, big distributors and all that, then you're probably not going to have to worry about that kind of thing. You'll get your warranty. You know, they're not going to sort of dick you around any more than, you know, any more than like what's necessary. They'll at least fix it. I mean, sometimes repairs can take freaking ages and stuff, and that's not like that's out of my hands, obviously. But yeah, I mean, what I sort of say to people sometimes if they do have a warranty on something, you know, I go to them, look, you know, depending on what your circumstance is, you know, you might consider that maybe now's a good time to upgrade whatever part is failing that you've got to send back for warranty. And then once that part comes back, then just sell it, you know, sell it with like a 1 year warranty, because you'll get at least a 1 year warranty on a repaired thing that's returned. So, I mean, sometimes that makes sense, but I mean, you've obviously got to have the money to go and buy that replacement part. So, you know, that's typically what happens. Okay, so the only thing that we need to sort of look at here is we got room for 2 fans there on the wall. Now, I don't think I've got 2 of the same fans. Just a second. Yes, I do. So these fans here are just all of the fans in this case, because it's a budget case. They're just sort of regular RGB fans. They just sort of turn on and off. But yeah, that's why this chassis here, which is quite a good chassis, can fit a 360mm radiator up top. It can fit a total of 11 fans. So that's pretty cool for you know, a budget case that costs like $65 or something like that. Not bad. Fans, something that you can upgrade. I mean, fans aren't very expensive for addressable RGB fans. You know, you can add them really quite cheap. But these fans aren't exactly the same as the ones in the case, but they're both the same as each other, and they're the same style of fan. And what I'll do is I'm going to chuck these in for free. How about that? I would have liked to have got this one done for the customer to pick up on the weekend, but some stuff got away from me, so here you go. I feel bad. So because we're mounting these on the wall, we're going to unhook them there, because we don't want to see any cables from them. Oh. Okay, let me just put our graphics card down here, and There we go. Alright, so with the ones on the side, as long as you get the first bolt in place and line them up right, then it's pretty easy to do the others. Yeah, that'll be pretty bloody cool. And then yeah, I mean, to upgrade the fans, you can get like entry level ARGB fans for about $10 to $15 each. You could get more fancy ARGB fans for about the $20 each mark, and then you can get premium fans for around the $50 each mark. So plenty of options there. The main thing with the premium ones, you get sort of more addressability functions. So with, you know, a regular addressable RGB fan, you can just sort of like change the color or pattern of like the total fan, so all the LEDs in the fan kind of do the same thing. Well, they can go on off, but they'll always produce the same color. Whereas the premium ones, you can address each LED individually, so you can create these fully customized lighting profiles, whatever your heart's desire is. Okay, so those two freebie fans are in there, and then what we'll do is we've got to undo our drive tray here. Okay, so it looks like this. So there's two ways that you can mount this. You can mount it inside like this, lay it down, slide it back, and then you got 3 holes there and 3 holes there on the other side. The other thing that you can do is you can mount it to the top. So even though this looks like there's just one drive tray, it's actually 2. So as long as you screw the one in on the top first, oh, I had it around the wrong way. I'm like, why is this not lining up? That might freaking explain it. There we go. And so I'll mount it to the top here, and the reason is because then you don't have to unbolt it to mount a second 3.5-inch drive if you want, and also leaves this empty space at the bottom there free, so you can sort of tuck any extra cables or any excess stuff from around the back here. You can sort of tuck it away under there. It's good to have a bit of extra space. Come on. Oh no. Oh damn, I did it the wrong way around. Oh no. What a muppet. What a freaking muppet. Hey, if that's the worst thing I do today, that'll be good. There we go. Dropped a bolt. The day's over. Should have kept it the same way I had it.
He's upgrading his HP monitor died.
Ah.
Upgrading his new laptop.
Oh, yep. So while SSDs, you know, they don't necessarily need to be fastened down, you know, that tightly. It is important to fasten the hard drives down, you know, completely. And the reason is obviously because hard drives have moving parts. SSDs do not have moving parts. Sorry?
Jerry, please say hi to Maxwell.
Hey Maxwell, how you going? Good to have you watching and listening tonight. Don't mind me, I'm very unscripted here. There we go. Got that screwed in nice and tightly there to the bottom, so like I said, really important for hard drives to be secured correctly. Hey Emily, how you going? Good to have you with us. Haven't seen Emily for a little while. Okay, so this power supply here is the BM3. Oh, sorry, this one doesn't have a 10-year warranty, it's a 5-year warranty, but it's still a Thermaltake power supply here. They make really, really good power supplies. That's kind of what they're famous for. I mean, they do heaps of stuff, but I think if you surveyed 100 people and asked them what Thermaltake did, a lot of them would say power supplies. If you got data that proves me wrong, I'll eat my words, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, so pre-installed there is just CPU cables and motherboard. So in addition to that, we need our 12+4 pin. This is symmetrical cable, so you don't have to sort of stress out about what end you're plugging in or anything like that. Just make sure you plug it in all the way. And so we won't need these old PCIe cables because we've got our new one there. And then as for everything else, we need a Molex. And we need a SATA. So there we go, that's all the cables that we need. So what have we got here? We got a couple left over. We got a Molex and a SATA left over as well. Yeah. Hey man, how you going? Good to have you with us. Just putting together this PC. What?
Oh damn! I'm just getting another chocolate donut.
Chocolate donut! Oh man. I can't handle like super sweet things, so my favorite donut is a nice hot cinnamon donut with like the cinnamon sugar. That's got to be my favorite. It's probably a bit nostalgic for me because I used to get them when I was a kid.
Emily wants to know how much RAM is this.
So this has just got 32 gigabytes. It's a Corsair Vengeance 6000 megahertz CL36. So yeah, it is DDR5. Because obviously we've got an AM5 platform here. The one thing that's sort of a little bit different is we've got the newish 8500G that we're going to have a look at tonight. So it's basically a refresh of like the 5600G but on AM5. So that's what I've heard anyway. So we'll go and see what that's exactly like. So what we'll do is we'll allocate some VRAM, and we'll load up on the CPU and see what the gaming performance is like on the benchmarks. Yeah, they
are pretty good.
They're pretty bloody awesome. In the supermarkets, see, I gotta, when I was like my first job was management at supermarkets. I used to work at Coles, and yeah, in the morning, the bakery bakes heaps of donuts and stuff like that. So if ever I was on in the morning, I'd swing by the bakery, say hello to the bakery team, and I would go and pinch myself a donut. So probably a little bit naughty from me, but I mean most of the bakery team would usually have themselves a sneaky donut there, and I mean, I was never gonna like be the guy that was gonna get up people for such an insignificant thing. But hey, sue me, that was 20 years ago. They're probably not allowed. It's probably way more strict now, and they've had all the soul sort of sucked out of them. No, I shouldn't say that. I've got friends that still work there, and you know, they're doing all right. Fried rice, hell yeah. Do you know Uncle Roger on YouTube? He's this Asian guy. Well, yeah, he's definitely Asian, but he's from the UK, I'm pretty sure. But he calls his character that he does is called Uncle Roger, and he's like every Asian person has someone like this, someone like how I'm acting in their family. But the thing that I saw him from was he was critiquing people's fried rice, and sort of like, you know, from an Asian perspective. Really, really, really funny stuff. If you like humor. He's pretty famous. If you don't know who he is, definitely check him out.
Been living under?
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you just don't know.
Yes.
All Okay, that's all looking good.
I need to hurry up because I'm really hungry.
I need to hurry up.
I want dinner.
The sauce has got to cook down though. We can't have runny spaghetti bolognese. Christine's like, yeah, we can.
No.
No?
No.
Got a short cable here. Not going to be able to use that either. Okay, here we go.
We are gonna need a SATA cable. Nope, I don't have one handy. So we'll take one of the ones that we got with the motherboard. You can just use the 90-degree one, and that can just plug in down days. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll hook up our hard drive before we, forget about it and stuff. And so, like I said, this excess length that away down there. We've also got our SATA power. Oh. Geez, that was a tight fit. And yeah, once again, we only need the one port off that entire cable, so we can just go ahead and tuck that. And now we've got a Molex cable. Once again, we only need one of the Molex plugs. So once again, we can just sort of stash that cable length under there, and then we just have our one Molex plug to plug in. Alright, so for Molex, just make popping out the end of them and stuff. Okay, that's all hooked up. Might do our CPU. Okay, so we've got 12 pins of CPU power up there, and we've got this configuration here. So we've got an 8-pin and a 4+4 pin. So what we want to do, we want to take that apart. Now the cable that has the little grooves on the outside of it there that you can feel, you should feel these little bits that divide the other cable. The one with the little pieces that you can feel, that's the cable that you want to use. So the other one is only if you're using the 16 pins. And so what you want to do is you want to try and make your own cable. So just sort of bend them together there. You've just got a single 12-pin cable there. Just hold that tight. Oh, I'm losing my grip on it. tied together. You can feed that through. There we go, and there it just looks like one single cable. Okay. All right. So I've got everything else plugged in now except our USB 3, our 12+4, and our motherboard. So, oh, we've also got our front panel cables.
That keeps rubbing on the wall.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the front panel cables. These are the ones that people freak out about. I guess all I can say is just look at the diagram and plug them in. And so the thing is, there's only one header that's like directional. So 3 out of 4 of them, you can just plug them in, you know, either way around, and it's not going to make any difference. So yeah, just look at the diagram before you plug them in and you shouldn't have any problems. Alrighty. So everything's pretty much in place now. Put the final screws in our board, and then we can put our graphics card in. And then we can do the software side of things, because the build will be done. Okay. Alright, so we're using slots 1 and 2. Alrighty. So right here, this is half of the cost of the entire PC. Our graphics card. So in true Asus style, this is going to be wrapped up better than a germaphobe at the brothel. Even over the back panel. And over here. And over this little ProArt badge. Oh, and a little bit more over that ProArt badge. Oh. Okay. And so now the point in the night where we get to see if I put it together right or if I've massively mucked it up, and see what'll happen if I mucked it up. The whole thing will explode. I'm not even joking. I'll probably lose my life. Well, here we go. We roll the dice and see if I get to live. Okay. So hopefully we don't have any weird compatibility issue with the motherboard and the new CPU, because that'll freaking annoy us.
Broken. Oh, there it goes. It's doing something.
Alright, so I don't have anything on this.
They just asked me to fucking do that.
There we go. Now I can actually see what you can see. Oh. Woman's cold.
What?
I said there's a woman's cold. That's the same one, right? So what we'll do, we'll get the BIOS updated, we'll install Windows, and then we'll have a look at the 8500G. We'll see what that's actually capable of. And so yeah, obviously you can see we're going from version 18.11 to 24.13, 10th of the 7th and the 2nd of the 4th. So what's that? 9 months? I can put this Wi-Fi antenna together for the customer while I wait. Much easier for me to stuff around with it. There we go. See, the problem is there's no magnet on this, and they don't even give you like a bit of double-sided tape or anything for it. And so yes, you want your Wi-Fi antenna. Just screws on the back of the motherboard there. You see the two gold things there and the two gold things on the back of the board. What's up? No, I didn't blow it up.
Someone's having a meow fight right now. Yeah, the cat keeps meowing at me for food. His dinner's almost ready and he knows he can smell it. So whenever I go into the kitchen,
Roast
meows.
chicken. He's getting roast chicken. The chicken is literally in my oven right now, being cooked with, you know, a shitload of juice out of the wall. How's he, you know?
He couldn't survive on
Frickin'
his own.
spoiled cat. And I got a dog here that's wearing a shirt. Not even joking.
Cat is the reason why my laptop broke. He kept laying down on top of it and hair got in it. So I hope this one won't die so easily.
Oh, hair got into it and that caused it to die. Damn. What, did it overheat or something? Because, man, I've seen some PCs that are full of freaking animal hair. Holy crap. Some of them don't even make it inside the house.
Yeah, they get blown out outside.
Yeah. I blow them out with a leaf blower before I even bring them inside.
I haven't had a dusty boy for a while.
No. No, but they're out there. Oh, don't mind me. Heap of acacias are in flower out my way, so I might be a little bit sneezy.
I haven't been too bad. Not like constantly. It's just like one or two. My eyes feel a bit itchy now and watery after the cough. So yeah, it's definitely the pollen. I've got dozens and dozens of trees and stuff to cut down. And when I say trees to cut down, I'm not talking about big old growth trees. I'm talking about small trees that have come up through all the paddocks because no one's taken care of it for a long time. So now there's basically weeds everywhere in the form of trees and stuff like that. So all the stuff that I'm cutting down is stuff that's growing where it shouldn't be. I've also got 4 acres of forest that's basically for koalas. Although we've got to do a bit of selective felling and revegetating of certain areas because there's not a lot of the eucalyptus trees that the koalas actually like, because something people might not know about koalas is they don't just eat all of the eucalyptus trees. There's only certain eucalyptus trees that they like. So koala habitat is a lot smaller than just any forest you see with gum trees. They can't just live in any gum tree. So we've got a lot of the ones that they can't live in. So what we'll do is we'll swap them and replant the variety that the koalas can live in. Because we don't want to lose koalas. That'd be tragic. Not just tragic for Australia, tragic for the whole world. There's a bit of world heritage there, species like that.
The motherboard fried and nothing could be done to fix it.
Yeah, well that's the thing. Laptop, once the board's dead, or once something critical on the board dies, it's just not repairable. They don't make it to repair.
I keep forgetting about alpacas, Maxes. Get alpacas, they'll keep your lamp beautiful and they're so complete. Been thinking about getting a cow or a horse. I forgot about alpacas. They're so cool.
Yeah, we got some fencing work to do though. Before we do anything, let's get everything else right.
We used to have cows.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully the stream quality is a little bit better tonight. Yeah, I got so many trees and like dead trees and lantana. I got so many dead trees that I'm actually like letting people come over and cut down trees to take away for firewood so they can sell it and stuff. And I'm not charging any money. I'm just saying come in, cut them down, clean it up, and you're good to go. Because yeah, I mean, most of them I would have thought would have been cut down. There's a fireplace here and stuff like that. I would have thought that the tenant would have used that because it frequently gets down to 0 degrees and just below 0 degrees where we are in winter. So it's not it's not super mild or anything like that.
It gets cold, it gets frosty a lot of mornings. Alright, so we've got both of our drives. We've got our 4TB hard drive there and then our SSD. So a SATA drive will always default to that drive 0 position. It'll always go ahead of the NVMe SSDs. Sorry, just a point to note. Getting the hiccups. Yeah. Hey George, how you going? Good to have you with us.
Max's stream quality's been pretty good. Max started playing. That's good.
Yeah, good.
Emily wants to know how's the cat.
He's hungry. That's how he is.
His dinner's almost ready, so I should probably go check on it actually. Move, dog. Bailey, move.
It's a pretty good case, this one, man. Like, realistically. Like, yes, they're just regular RGB fans. They just turn, like, on and off. They're just fixed on the same mode. But it looks fine. And then it's so upgradable, man. You can fit a 360mm radiator for a liquid cooler up the top there. So you can put in an all-in-one liquid cooler. And then really easy, you just swap out those fans and you could put in like high-end premium fans. You can also mount an extra 2 fans to the bottom there as well if you wanted to. So really, really good case, upgradable, and it's only like, I think the cheapest I've seen it is $69 at Umart. So that's a bargain for a case that comes with at least 4 fans installed, regardless of whether they're, addressable RGB or not. Just having 4 fans pre-installed in a case is pretty bloody good, especially if it's under $75. Oh, what's happened here? Looks like my Windows installer just stalled. Okay. It's kind of weird. I've seen weirder things though, right? Okay, so I mean if it does stall, don't freak out too much. It's most probably fine. So now it's going. See if it's stalled again there at the same point. That would be an indication that there's definitely something else going on there. What you're looking for is a pattern versus random behavior, if that makes sense. Random issues are the worst ones to try to work out because, yeah, sometimes it's the last thing that you think. Consistent problems, which are most problems, are relatively simple to diagnose. I can normally sit down with a PC and diagnose it, usually within 10 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, but realistically always within an hour. There's sometimes you might need some extra testing after that, but that's only for some cases. For the vast majority, that's what it's like. Problem with diagnosing is you need all spare parts just sitting there. Different CPUs and different RAM and motherboards, and you've got to have everything sort of just lying around there. So unless you're in business, it's kind of hard to go and spend all this money on all this extra crap just so you can diagnose your PC if something goes wrong with your PC. Because plenty of people build a PC and that's it. They don't need another PC for ages then. I built my mate a PC back during COVID, and he's still got it now and he loves it. And he doesn't need to upgrade or anything for his uses. Alright, so this little bag here will have everything that you need. I will also include the screws and the standard mounting bracket. You don't need a post beep speaker. Have a couple of spare blanking panels if you ever wanted to sell the graphics card. Not that I imagine that you would. What's going on here? Is my USB drive on the fucking getting to the end of its life? Possibly. That was weird to have two random issues there with the installer. Okay. So no, we're not in the United States, we're in Australia. We are the 51st state of the United States of America. Though we pledge allegiance to a different flag and have our own autonomy. How's that? Yeah.
George wants to know, what AIO would you recommend? What do you think of the EVGA CLCX 360?
Oh, I couldn't tell you because I'm not familiar. I haven't used them. I haven't used it before. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine, because EVGA isn't doing graphics cards anymore and stuff. I think that, well, they've got to do something, right? Have a look. Christine's gonna look it up, and we'll have a look. So there's a fair few choices there on the high end for 360mm AIOs. Oh yeah, that's a top quality unit there. I can tell just from looking at it. It's got the screen there, the 3 fans. Looks pretty cool. EVGA is a pretty cool brand. Out of the USA, we're just talking about the USA. It looks sick, and it's price, 350-ish Aussie dollars. Yeah, that's pretty high end.
Some tuning software.
What are the physical features of it? What is it? I'm assuming it's got all the best stuff.
It's got 5-year warranty. It's 395mm by 120mm.
Yeah, 5-year warranty
27
tells you a lot about it, because people aren't going to companies aren't going to put a 5-year warranty on products that they're not pretty confident 99.9% of them are going to last that long. All right.
Max wants to know what case is this.
This is the GameMax Destroyer, I think it is. Yeah, GameMax Destroyer MB. And so, like I was saying, this is a really good case. It's pretty cheap, it's pretty basic, but it's really upgradable. You can fit a 360mm radiator up top. You can fit full-size graphics cards, and you can fit a total of 11 fans in there if you wanted to. So you could really go nuts with this case, and it could be sort of upgraded to essentially a really high-end PC. So if you want a cheap case under $70 with the 4 fans pre-installed, hit up this case. I think it looks great. Hey, what do I know? What else we got here? Do we have?
Answered Jerry's question. Would having more fans make it better? Select 10 or more. Wouldn't necessarily make it better. It just look cooler.
The reason why you'd install the extra fans and stuff like that would be purely aesthetics. When it comes to airflow and stuff like that, and understanding what good airflow looks like, good airflow in a case basically is where the amount of air being sucked into the case is equal to the amount of air being pushed out of the case. That's what good airflow looks like. Just adding extra fans willy-nilly, that doesn't give you good airflow, because you can look at, like, what they do is they can do smoke tests where they get like dry ice or something that produces smoke, and they can run it through the PC case, and then you can see exactly where the air flows, and you can look all this up to see examples of what I'm talking about. But basically, for most PC cases in 2024, if you're running modern graphics cards for gaming that use a lot of power and stuff like that, realistically, you want 3 fans on the front, or 3 fans drawing in cool air, and then you want 3 fans pushing out. It's good to have the one at the back there, because you got this heat sink here at the back, and it's good to have just a little bit of airflow around it, even if this fan isn't really contributing too much overall to the overall airflow in the case. So, like, we added these 2 fans on the side there, we chucked them in for free. The same sort of fans as the other ones there, and they're purely for show. It is actually an extra. They are actually extra exhaust fans, but like I said, this case not really gonna need anything more than these 6. So like I said, I chucked them in for free, and not really a big deal, because even if we just had the 1 fan on the back there, just having 3 on the front and having an open vent on the top, that will pretty much solve all your problems. You've got cool air being drawn in at the front, and then the natural convection of heat will rise up the top, and then it will just get pushed out the top. So even though what we've got there now is probably a bit better, although ideally, if we really cared about absolute optimal airflow, we'd put these 2 on the side at the top at the back there. But like I said, we're doing this for aesthetics. It's not going to affect the performance of this system. So that's our graphics card driver.
What other models of AI would you recommend?
So on a for a cheaper one, you can't go past the Deepcool LS720 or the Deepcool LT 720. They're both excellent. You can move on up and get yourself.
This one's pretty cool, the LD.
Yeah, you can move up and basically there's a few options to get to have a look at from Corsair, NZXT, and Lian Li. The main ones I'd go up if I was going to spend more than the deep cool ones. I would probably want to upgrade to one that has a screen on it as a minimum. Once you get above, once you get above $200 and above, typically the quality of them and the performance of them is all fairly similar. There's not really a great need to look at like the individual performance of them. You're basically looking at getting one that you like the look of and has the features and functionality that you want. So I will typically recommend a customer a different cooler based on what brands that they seem to like. So if someone likes Lian Li, then we'll go with a Lian Li Galahad cooler with an LCD screen if the customer's budget has enough for it. The other thing to consider is whether the cooler actually has the fans that you want, because if you are putting fans into a high-end build, you're probably going to want a particular model of fan, and it's going to stick out like dog's balls if you have a cooler that's got completely different fans on it. So alright, get a bit of this stuff installed.
He really wants to see the cat.
Haha.
Do you want to hold him?
Kind of doing stuff. Put him on the table. Thought he was going to put him on the box, but anyway.
Be quiet. They really love their cases.
Yeah, just check the warranty on the cooler. I think a lot of them are 3 years, which is fine. But just make sure you don't get one that's just got a 1 year warranty on it. Just double and triple check that. Yeah, I try to always avoid coolers that have less than a 2 year warranty on them as a general sort of guide to quality, because sometimes it's just not worth getting a cheaper one, because the problem is that you'll have to replace it like a lot sooner. Whereas if you just gone with the one that's got like the longer warranty on it, then you won't have to go to the effort of swapping it out 2 years down the track, because a lot of those ones that just have 1 year warranties, 2 years later they're being replaced. And I mean, that's probably good for me if I want customers to come back and get new parts installed, but it's not very honest for me to recommend them. So just consider all that when you're looking for particular coolers, because like I said, when you get to a certain price point, they're pretty much all really good quality, and it's merely about aesthetics and stuff. The thing is, a lot of coolers just come from two different places that manufacture them. So yeah, a lot of it in terms, that's why the quality and performance is really consistent, like I said. Because yeah, when the pumps and stuff are coming out of the same factory, it's yeah.
Says always keep your PC for spares and diagnoses.
Yep, 100%, man,
Unless
100%.
you have to sell it.
If you have to sell it, sell it. You know, sometimes I recommend to people, you know, if they wanna stay up to date, sell their PC at least every 2 to 3 years, and then put that money into a new one. That makes the best sort of financial sense there, because if you wait and hold on to it for longer, the value of it will drop exponentially more. So definitely something that you want to consider. It's kind of like people with cars. If you want to always have a new car, you want to like sell your current car every like 2 years or so, and then put that money from the sale into the new car basically, and you just make up the gap, and that's what you pay. That's the price of always having a nice new car. So it's the same kind of thing with computers. Obviously, it's just an order of magnitude cheaper. So it really depends, you know. Like I say to people, you know, always consider like it's one thing to go, yeah, I'm gonna do some upgrades and all that, but if your PC's a little bit older, just consider what you could get from it without doing any extra, like putting any extra work or money into it, and then rolling that money into a new system. Because a lot of the time it'll mean that, you know, you can sell your PC, and then all you need to do is drop another $1,000 and you've got something that's, you know, got an extra 30% more performance. Because, you know, things move pretty fast in the PC world. Performance increases all the time, and yeah, things don't hold their value for very long. So I always recommend that to people, but it depends on what sort of person you are, right? Okay, so look, the rest of this stuff's pretty straightforward. No, no, no.
Max says just bought my new car. Got a Tesla. Can't afford my new PC.
I bet you can't. Oh no.
Coffee now. Let's go check on your dinner again. Okay? Alright, it's ready now.
No, no. Okay. Alright, so we got a little bit of stuff going on there, some stuff conflicting, that's always fun. So does that mean this AMD installer is gonna work its way through? So we always install Cinebench for our stress test.
Definitely not missing anything. Okay, alright, there we go. Alright, so we'll set up our hard drive here. Got to set it up in disk management. There we go, there it is. Okay. Alright, so look, first we'll have a look at our 4070 Ti, and then we'll have a look at our onboard graphics. Only got the one set there for CPU usage. That's okay. We just won't have all the stats. It's just because it's a new CPU. Okay, there we go. Okay, so basically we'll just be waiting for these and we can do a restart. We've done BIOS. Yeah, we've got everything we need from that. Okay. So let's have a look at some gaming benchmarks. So bear in mind that we've still got some stuff installing in the background, but like I said, it shouldn't really impact things a great deal here, so you get a good idea of how everything runs. And so, I mean, this is a good benchmark, because usually if you're gaming, you'll probably have some stuff in Windows that's running in the background as well. Okay, and everything on the screen here up the top, we've got our graphics card, temperature, usage, clock speed, and wattage. We've got our VRAM usage and clock speed. We've got our CPU usage. We didn't have all the other things to select. We've got our RAM usage. And this number here below RAM, that's how many frames per second it's currently running at. So that CPU usage will normally be a lot lower. Oh, Armory Crate's decided to finish off. No, we can keep going for a bit. Okay, back up here. So like I said, that CPU usage, oh, bloody hell. Before I get interrupted again, that CPU usage would normally be lower. Oh, this freaking thing. Everybody loves Armory Crate. Especially me, I love it the most. Anyway, there you go, that massive frame rate. We got stuff going in the background, but that's okay. Our 4070 Ti and our modern Ryzen CPU can do its thing. Oh. Heatsink on our MOSFET and VRM's nice and cool. So we certainly haven't stressed out our CPU much yet. And we're only drawing about 200 watts for the graphics card, which is, you know, by today's standards, that's pretty energy efficient. You can also undervolt it and get like a better energy efficiency out of it. Like I said, I think that'll be a bigger deal, like globally, in the future. It's a big deal in Southeast Asia and India and stuff like that, where energy bills are like a higher ratio of the person's income. So they're always trying to save on power, whereas a lot of people in the West, electricity is a very small cost compared to what you earn. So basically no one cares about energy efficiency here. Not for their computer. Huh?
You're a bit shit, Max says, but I will be getting you builded. I messaged you on Facebook, but haven't heard back yet.
Oh, send me a reminder. Like, you might have sent me a message and I might have accidentally opened it on my phone, and then it doesn't show up in my messages to action. That's the same for anyone who messages me. I'm just a busy man. So it's not that I'm intentionally ignoring you, just send me another message. Just go, hey, just type bump for like, seriously. Because then your message will go back to the top and it will show up as unread and all that. Because I do try to read back through the messages, but sometimes I just miss things when they're all unread and all that. So small dog. I've got this dog that's just staring at me. Actually, his eyes like stare right through you. So I mean, this is absolutely carving it up, as you can see. So what does a CPU bottleneck look like? A CPU bottleneck would be if our CPU was getting up into the 80 and 90% usage, then you could argue that there's a decent CPU bottleneck. When it's sitting there below 50, any bottlenecking by the CPU is minimal. Okay, there we go. So that was heaven there on high with no anti-aliasing. Oh, something went wrong. Stupid thing. Come on, Windows. Installing Asus Core Software Distribution Kit. Bloody hell. Okay, so we'll do Valley now. Valley's more demanding even if we were to run it on the same settings, but we'll do it on higher settings, so Ultra with max anti-aliasing. I see you below my glass table staring up at me. What do you want?
She probably wants some food. She can smell the chickens and the spaghetti sauce cooking, so she's like, give me some.
See, look.
She's already had some chicken.
You've had chicken?
I gave her a little bit. I normally always give it the skin from the cat's chicken.
Does the cat not eat the skin?
No.
Oh my god.
He doesn't like it.
Okay, so that was Valley on Ultra with max anti-aliasing. Okay, Armory Crate's still installing. Don't worry, this app, Armory Crate, it takes ages to install, even if you've got the most high-end hardware on the market right now. It still takes ages to install. It's weird, I don't normally have to do this. That is weird. So it's not showing me my on-screen display. For whatever reason, it's just not playing nicely with our 4K benchmark. This does happen sometimes. Can you move me just slightly to the left?
I couldn't. It won't. Oh, there it goes.
Bit further. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because...
I'll just put you down here.
Yeah.
Put you in the corner.
Yeah. Because there's stats in the top right-hand corner. The dog just sighed.
Yeah, because she's not getting what she wants.
Okay. Alright, that's done. Update and restart. And then yeah, the final thing we'll do is we'll set it up with our 8500G
and then we'll see how that goes. Have some of the bigger managers come down and address people, and they'll be like trying to get G'd up on stuff, all that. So yeah, you can either like go do something else for the day, or you can just come home or whatever. Might be better if you just come home and sort Bailey out and stuff, and then just come back at night, and you go out to dinner, or you just have like a bit of a night off. Yeah. Just chain her up in the shed with your mum. Okay. So when you get a CPU that's got onboard graphics and you want to use it for gaming, you do have to go and make a few modifications to your motherboard settings to make sure that it's definitely going to work exactly as you want it under all circumstances, as good as it can be. Now, what we do is we allocate some of the RAM to act as the CPU's VRAM. By default, it will have 500 megabytes of VRAM. And so we can set that up so it can go up to 4 gigabytes of VRAM. You can go higher, but there's no point because the actual GPU that's on the CPU isn't that strong. So more VRAM doesn't help if the card's not strong enough to utilize it. More VRAM's important when you go up in resolution. So if you want to go and run 4K games all the time, that'll use up more VRAM. So you want to turn all the textures and quality settings up, that will also use more VRAM. Oh, what has happened here? It's a little bit strange. Alright, so we'll get the rest of the drivers and stuff installed. So I think we're still missing our chipset drivers. Come on. 96, 97, 98. Come on, you can do it. 99, 99. Okay. I do not agree. Okay. Did we just have a stall again? I think it has. So this is starting to look like potentially memory related issue. So memory issues usually get worse, which is actually kind of a good thing because we want it to keep getting worse. Because the last thing I want to do is have this PC go out to the customer when it's freaking stalling. Okay.
Are you fucking serious? Oh my god.
Something's happened. downloads are nice and slow tonight. Ugh. So I think we should be all looking pretty good at this stage. Oh no, we're still missing... We don't have our Bluetooth driver. Oh, we'll commence that. Okay, so look, this process in Armory Crate normally takes 5 minutes or more. So if you want, go get something to drink, go get something to eat, and come back. I'm gonna just go to the toilet and get a drink and stuff, and wait for this to be done.
we looking over here? So slow downloading stuff through this Armory Crate app. Takes ages to install. Come on, Asus, fix this stuff. I know you got the budget. And if you think you don't, I don't know. Need to talk to your investors. Because, yeah, people like me setting up computers for people shouldn't be, like, consistently bitching about how slow and tedious it is. I mean, look, if you want to know why I'm saying it's, like, pretty bad? How often do you have to download a special thing called the Armory Crate uninstall tool? Because when it fucks up installing, it leaves such a mess that you literally need a special uninstaller app to get rid of everything. Someone needs to make some fundamental changes to it, hey? Because that's just a little bit ridiculous. Armory Crate uninstall tool. Okay.
Or do you want me to cook pasta?
Like now, I guess.
Okay, we're nearly done. And then yeah, we're gonna have a look. We're gonna set up the profile there for our 8500G, so we can use a bit more VRAM for it, and then we'll go and run some benchmarks on it and see how it performs, and see how it stacks up as a budget option here in 2024, and as a sort of a stopgap option for someone who's on a budget, who needs to get a new PC now but can't afford the graphics card that they want. Whenever it wants to, finish up, that'd be great. So while we see the asterisk, it's not installed correctly. Oh, come on. I could just download it off your website quicker than this, man. This is meant to save time and effort. Doesn't do that at all. Apparently it's doing something. Look at that. Asus driver update client. 12.3% CPU usage. It's apparently doing stuff. Bloody hell. This is pretty much beyond a joke, right? Alright, so while that thing's doing it, I'm going to go to the website. Look at that. Stupid thing. Intentionally slow. So yeah, we're going to shut it down, and then we're going to sort of set it up to run on the onboard graphics, and we'll check out what that's like. Okay. Okay, so now we're plugged into the onboard graphics. I'm going to go in to BIOS now. What have we got? Yep. No, it won't be in there. That's really strange. Here we go. UMA frame buffer size. Sorry about that, guys. It's always fun. You got a new BIOS and stuff, and they move things around just slightly. Heaps of fun. So we went and allocated 4 gigabytes. And so yes, we'll load back up into Windows. We'll make sure that we've definitely got the 4 gigabytes of VRAM allocated, and then we'll run the benchmarks again. We'll see how it goes. Well, we'll at least run Heaven anyway.
Might not run all three. This is the second time I've had this, eh? That's strange. Maybe check and see if there's a more up-to-date BIOS. They might have released another update, because that's pretty weird. Well, I'd like to say the customer can pick it up tomorrow, but I might want to do a little bit more testing on this. We'll see. Okay, there's our graphics, and then we've got 4 gigabytes there dedicated for the graphics card. Perfect. Okay. Alright, so our Radeon is showing up as GPU 1. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see how many frames per second we get on this. 400. This doesn't sound right. This feels like I'm running the graphics card, but I don't have anything plugged into the graphics card. Fans are spinning. No, that's not showing me what I want to see. That's really weird as well. Like, it's like it was utilizing a graphics card without anything plugged into it. Okay. So I'm going to remove the graphics card completely, so it has no choice. It has to use the CPU. I'm just about finished up here. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Alright, let's see how we go. Is this a downgrade or an upgrade? This feels about the same as a 5600G, which is exactly what I was thinking. I mean, that's pretty good without a graphics card in, right? You gotta consider. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that without an actual graphics card in my computer. Okay. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Okay, so look, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.